Welcome to See You on the Show. We're here to seek out the boldest ideas in the credit union movement. I'm your host, Doug English, former credit union insider, certified financial planner, and founder of ACT Advisors. On this show, we're looking for timely insights and conversations tailored for you, the credit union movement. Today, we're joined by Mitch Rutledge, co-founder of Vertus AI, and Fred Eisel, CEO of Viso Financial. We're going to explore how artificial intelligence is reshaping the credit union landscape, especially in light of declining membership, limited resources, and rising demand for personalization and financial services. Let's get started. Welcome to See You on the Show. I'm delighted that you have joined me today to help to capture some of the leading ideas of AI use in the credit union movement. So let's talk a little bit about your background. How did you get started in working with credit unions way back, if it is way back, and then what are you doing today?
I'll start. Fred Eisel, I'm the president and CEO of Viso Financial. We're a corporate credit union based in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we help all credit unions, large and small, with financial services, money management, liquidity, and payment services are big things. Education surrounding that, and then looking to be more innovative and looking at more AI solutions going forward. I've been in the industry my entire career. I started in '93, right out of college. My dad introduced to the system because my dad was a part-time teller at his railroad credit union back in the day. They asked him to be on the board, became chair of the board, became a league director, and just knew nothing but credit unions my whole life. And when I got out of college, I applied for this corporate credit union job in the investment area. Got the job in '93, and I've been a chief investment officer. I was an investment analyst in the late '90s. I was the SVP, chief investment officer of the corporate here for 24 years, and was just recently announced and moved to the CEO role in January of 2004. So it's been my whole career in the credit union corporate space. That's all I've known.
Well, my story, my name is Mitch Rutledge. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vertus AI. My journey and story in the credit union movement is a little different than yours, Fred. I've been a member of my credit union since I was 17. I tell the story, when I went to go get my first car, my parents said, "We're not buying that for you, but we'll come down to the local credit union." They co-signed and helped me get that sweet ride. So I've been a member for many years. But the journey with Vertus AI is just about 2.5 years ago. We launched creating this solution that's focused on bringing advanced analytics and AI solutions to credit unions to help them, we say, know, grow, and measure every member as they climb their financial mountain. And so that's been, the last 2.5 years have been immersed in, how do we bring the power of data and AI to credit unions of all sizes. Before launching this company, I've been in the software and AI solution space for my entire career. So started off with a medium-sized software company and have been with a couple of firms, primarily in commercial roles. But the last role before founding Vertus was with a very large platform analytics and AI company. So was creating solutions for many industries to, again, leverage the power of their data in efficient and effective ways. So excited to be in the movement. It's been a fantastic 2.5 years of creating this solution for the movement and meeting great people like Fred and the team at Viso Financial.
So where, thinking about the whole industry and where AI may impact the credit union industry first. What are you seeing? This is maybe outside of Vertus, just industry wide. Where are you seeing AI first users starting to show up?
Well, I'll start that one, and Fred, you obviously talked to a lot of your members, but what we see is that there are many credit unions starting to dip their toe in the water, and I think back to 2023 and 2024, there were some projects. Chatbots were the first and foremost, fraud. But if you really go back, I mean, the concept of some of the traditional machine learning capabilities that are in the AI family have been used for many years around credit scoring, right? So if we really think that has been available in the market for many years. That said, when we think about the more modern generative AI and some of the more advanced large language models and things that have come out in the last few years, that's where I think people are really dipping their toe in with chatbots and some of the back office automation pieces. We launched Virtus that uses all of these capabilities from large language models to traditional machine learning capabilities and clustering, all the different kinds of advanced analytics and AI solutions focused on primarily member growth. And we think that's a great opportunity to serve, again, credit unions of all sizes to really leverage the data they have in a new and efficient way to grow the member relationships, grow the membership, grow that wallet share, which is important to the growth of the movement.
Yeah, at the corporate side, we are trying to help all credit unions, large and small. We're working with the largest credit unions in the country, billions of dollars, state employees in North Carolina. But we're also working with the smallest credit unions in the country that are the small little church credit union that might be $2, $3, $5 million. And we're trying to help them all succeed and survive. The reality is, if you look at the NCUA call data, the quarterly call data out there, it's all negative growth, especially 100 million and below. Even if you get to the $500 million credit union in assets and below, negative asset growth, negative loan growth, negative membership growth. And especially if you're in certain pockets of the country, in Pennsylvania, in certain areas that the railroad's gone, the coal mining town's gone, down here in the South, the textile mill is gone. Some of these areas where the credit union still is part of that community is struggling to grow. And so we know that, and we're trying to help all of our members try to grow and survive and not merge away. That's the easy solution. And we've talked to our credit unions and said, we know that you need to embrace technology, but also understand the credit union struggles with the resources that they don't have to embrace technology. But what are you trying to do? What are you trying to solve? And for many of them, they're just trying to grow. They're trying to increase their asset size and loan share and grow their credit union. But they have what they told us, and we met with a lot of credit unions over the last couple of years. We have data. We're just not sure what to do with it. We don't have the resources internally to really take anything from it. And we need to grow. Okay. We talked internally at the staff level. What can we do outside of the money management and payment area that we're at and we're in? What's the future of the corporate? How do we help credit unions in the future? That's embracing and investing in solutions and in partners that embrace this technology and telling credit unions, hey, look, not only with this AI technology do you become more efficient and smarter, you're going to be smarter at looking at your member behavior. It's no longer looking at your member demographic. We're trying to get the millennial. That was the talk for years. It's really understanding and embracing the member behavior. And this is part of the reason why we like the Virtus AI Node platform is you get to know your member. You may have 5,000 potential members and only 2,500 members that are active. So a lot of these credits are trying to go association, trying to go community charter. You got so many members that are in your shop right now that you need to embrace and get to know better and really capture more of that business. And the way to do that today is with technology, and they have to embrace that. And Virtus AI is the perfect platform for that.
So how have you, so your partnership between the two firms is recent, right? This is new?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we met, kind of the timeline there is, again, we talked to our members latter part of 22, early 23, internally with staff. We talked about the need for some of this technology and to embrace it. We at the corporate are in a very good position capital-wise. So we had capital that we wanted to deploy in either buying subscriptions, investing in a QSO. We were open to all kinds of solutions. We surveyed our members, and they said the same thing. We asked two questions on our survey besides some other scoring questions. What are you struggling with right now? What are you working on for next year? And grow, the word grow was mentioned probably 30 to 40% of the time. Grow members, grow loans, grow market share, grow. Our board said we need to look at, and we internally as an executive team said as a corporate, we need to look a little differently. We've been in the payments space, which is evolving and more of instant payments. Money management space is evolving. We as a corporate also have to evolve in a way to help our credit unions to somehow partner we're not creating this at any of these platforms. We're not a technology company, but we can partner with folks that have these solutions that we can deliver to our credit unions. And so through Mark Haverly, we were introduced to Mitch and Virtus AI last spring, had a great meeting, and took it from there and really developed a really good relationship and agreed to partner with them middle to late last year, and really went full bore the first of this year. Very excited about that relationship.
So that's an interesting way of getting there. So you surveyed your members. Tell us how many folks that was? I'm just trying to figure out how representative of the industry as a whole is that data set.
We have 650 to 700 credit union members, and we say members of the corporate fully capitalized us. And that's predominantly in the East Coast, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, down through the Carolinas. We had, I'd have to look at the numbers, the 700 credit unions probably had 600 to 700 individuals respond to that survey. We had a very good uptake on that survey. And most of them C-suite type executives that know what the strategy is of the credit union, what they're trying to shoot for. So we had a very good uptake on the survey, and a subset of that membership was predominantly East Coast. And we just know we serve credit unions throughout the country that are maybe not full-blown members, have the same challenge. So if you're a $50 to $100 million shop, you may have some situations that are unique to you in Pennsylvania or North Carolina. But generally speaking, again, if you look at the aggregate data, $100 million shops are struggling with pretty much the same thing. And what we're finding is they're all struggling with the lack of resources. They have a lot of data. I don't have a data analyst or data scientist, nor can I hire one, but I want to grow, and I want to do it in a cost-effective way. Can you, the corporate, help? We find that we're in a very good position for that. And from all that data and all the just one-on-one discussions with our members throughout the last couple of years, we've come to the conclusion we need to do that and partner with Virtus, which has kind of checked all those boxes of what we're trying to solve for the credit union.
All right, so the credit union movement wants to grow through AI. So we're kind of looking at it from the lens of what the credit unions want from AI, not necessarily what AI is the most suited for, which I think is an interesting kind of coming at it from the other direction, which I'm not qualified to say. Maybe you guys are, but let's go down this path, Mitch. So let's go down the path of how is Virtus and AI as a technology going to help credit unions grow? Like what does a credit union need to be able to be positioned to do that? And then what can they sort of be thinking about to get ready to be able to lean in to this initiative?
Sure. So I would say that understanding that growth is that priority. I mean, that is, again, the foundation of what Virtus about is. We say that we're a member growth solution, and it's really about distilling data that credit unions already have, right? We have member data, account data, transactional data. But we need to distill that into something that we can take action on. And as Fred said, the reality is most credit unions aren't in a position to go hire one or many teams of data analysts or data scientists to do that work for them. They could outsource it to third parties, but again, understanding how do we build that business case around it. And that's what our vision is, to, again, give them the power of a team of data scientists in a solution that's built for credit union marketers, branch teams, retail teams, strategy teams, to really help them understand their membership. So when you say, what do they need? I think the first is they need a will and a desire, right? We talk about our best prospective credit unions are those ones that are data curious and growth driven. That's first and foremost. And that data
curious is a fabulous phrase.
But they're understanding that we think there's something there, we just don't know how to unlock it, and we need some help to go mine it, is first and foremost. What I would say, and this could be contrarian, you'll hear people say we need to get our data clean and right. I think that is a fool's errand, because there's always going to be more data and you're never going to get it right. Our mantra is data is a journey, not a destination. Can we always do better? For sure. Is there always more that we can use? For sure. But if we try to get to quote right and perfect data, we're going to be waiting a long time. And we say, work with the data you have. and you likely can get great insights. Perfection's the enemy of progress, and we want to make sure that we can give them insights that they can take action on quickly. And that's a big, again, sort of core to our philosophy is speed to value. We can get insights and we can take action and we can continue to evolve and use more data and get deeper insights over time. So that might be a little contrarian of, get your data perfect is not something that we believe in. There's plenty of data that we can take action on about your members and, their accounts and their transactions to give actionable, meaningful insights.
Well, at the speed of AI, isn't it going to get so intelligent somewhere around next month where it's going to be able to work with messy data and unstructured data and figure it all out because it's going to learn from what you trained on?
For sure, right. And this is the sort of the promise and what we're all hearing about in these generative AI landscape, that it can be, it trains itself, and this self-learning concept, which is very powerful. And that's a big part of what we're trying to bring in the use cases that we're solving for, that it can learn over time. And again, back to it's learning across all of the credit unions we work with, right? So, my call out is the more credit unions that join our data-driven movement, we will be helping the collective. And we're seeing that already, where some small credit unions have never had credit cards before, and they think, well, who should we launch this with? Well, we have a model that can score your members because we've scored it on many other, credit unions around the land, and you get the benefit of that network effect across the movement. So that's a big part of what we think, back to your big, bold movement, that we want to be providing data-driven insights and actions that we can learn across the entire movement. And that's how we go beat, the big four banks as a movement together, is that collective use case. And Vizo's helping us drive that, right? I mean, their membership and their desire to bring it to all of their members is helping us to expedite that growth of the data set and the training set that we can use to support everybody.
This is where we think AI and data it doesn't maybe level the playing field entirely for all credit unions, but there was a time when the credit union industry was way more cooperative and aggregated, and I've seen it. Been in my whole career, I've seen that aggregation, cooperative spirit kind of get separated a little bit over the last number of years. I don't know when that started, but that's been happening. And so this kind of brings it back to where the more data we have in aggregation, this really helps the smaller credit union that may not have the wealth of data, but they can really utilize the data that's out there at the macro level and kind of see what other $10 to $30 million cranes are doing, or other cranes in a certain region are doing. That data just becomes more and more powerful. What I like to add on to what Mitch was saying earlier is we have credit unions that are just fearful of diving into AI. It's just intimidating because I got to get all this data together. I got to get my data right. If some of our larger credit unions are thinking, well, I got to write something internally, it's like, no. The credit unions get stuck with trying to get their data clean. They may work with a consultant that's spending, months, years trying to get their data lake together and everything talking to one another. And they're on a lot of Zoom calls. And after 2 years, what have you gotten? We're still working through Zoom calls and trying to get it figured out. What we love about the Virtus model is Virtus is trying to solve one problem, and that is helping your credit union grow, which is a big problem for a lot of credit unions. The data shows that. So we're trying to get that little slice of cake solved. We're not trying to make the whole cake all at once because that's going to take a lot of time. And the bigger the credit union gets, the more people are in that kitchen trying to make that cake, and it gets a little messy. Virtus is solving one problem, which is a problem for many credit unions, and that data that it gets aggregated becomes more powerful. So if you're a $50 million shop or a $100 million shop, our message to our members and our credit unions is you can get into AI technology. We have folks here at Vizo that will support you down that path. We have a partner in Virtus AI that will support you in that path, and it's a slick, easy model to get onto very quickly without having a huge data or anybody really in the data space at your credit union. With the support of us, we can get you there, and the aggregate data that you get from that, it makes you, the $50 million credit union, even more powerful. So it's very exciting for us to partner with a solution like Virtus versus trying to help a credit union get their data together and their data clean. That is, as Mitch said, you can spend years doing that and get nothing. And a lot of this technology and other credit unions are using this technology are going to pass you by.
Can we go into some actual use cases. You may or may not be able to say the names. If you can, great. If you can't, that's fine too. But let's talk about some cases that you guys have been involved in, like where, especially with once they use your tools, what's the pickup in effectiveness as far as deposits and loans and new members? Let's hear it.
Sure, I'll pick up on that. So, at the core of what we're doing is helping credit unions be more targeted and personalized in the products and services that they serve up to their members, right? We know that many credit unions still are in a very kind of mass market, one-to-many member engagement strategy, right? Where we say it's spring, we're running the HELOC campaign, send the HELOC content to all of the members kind of scenario. Yep. And we live in the Amazon, Spotify, Netflix era where we expect personalized recommendations from everywhere, including our financial institution. And that's what we're helping marketing teams and retail teams distill and put the right members into the right programs based on their behavior. So we're distilling all of that transactional data, account data, again, member demographic information to say, what are the right programs for these members based on all of this information that we have? And doing that in a way that a marketer can say, just give me the people that show that look like they would be a good prospect for the HELOC program instead of everybody. And we can easily give them those, target campaign lists and audiences to focus on. So we want to do that. That used to, if we want to do any kind of personalization, many credit unions said that could take weeks to get those lists. And we want to help them get that in, minutes through a intuitive experience. And so, credit unions like Duke University and Coastal Credit Union and Welby Financial are all clients that we work with. And many of the ones that are coming through Viso today as well are going to join that movement to be able to do that. And they see, we see anywhere from 2 to 6 times higher conversion rates when we focus on the right members. And that's, again, very powerful. We all know that if you serve up things to me that are relevant to my life and my behaviors, I'm going to respond better. And we've seen that across the board with our, more than 24 credit union clients that are doing this with us today. And so they see higher conversion rates. We see, in some cases, we've seen over 40% higher initial deposit rates on new accounts. So, the click-through rates are higher when you get campaigns. So, we get to a point where the credit unions are back to becoming that trusted advisor with their content instead of we're just blasting, all sorts of content every day, every week to people, which we don't want. We want that relevant, personalized recommendations. And that's how we get higher take-up rates, response rates, and ultimately values for deposit products. So yeah, all of those are examples that we've seen.
We had a presenter at our financial conference a couple of years ago. He was generally our age. He had a young daughter, probably 17, 18. And his comment was this a couple of years ago before AI was really taking off about sharing of data. And he said, I'm just not comfortable. Our generation and older, just we don't want to share our data. We want to keep it all under the, kind of private. And his daughter's like, I want everybody to have my data. I want you, whoever I'm buying from, telling me what I should need or what I should buy. And that's where the retail space has been for years, as Mitch said. So the younger generation is very comfortable with the credit union having the data. You should know me. That was the power of the credit union for many, many years, is I know my members. Well, with the online banking nowadays and everything in an app, you don't go into the branch anymore. So that connection's kind of lost. But if I have the data and I know the member's behavior, I can be way more impactful for that member, young or old. And then the younger generation for sure wants you better know my data, you better know my behavior, and that is going to help me work with the credit union a lot more in the future. And that's where the credit union's got to be comfortable embracing the technology, just not because of that, but as we move into more of an open banking world, and that's coming, it's already here and it's coming quickly. Open banking's flourishing in Europe and the UK, and everything in the financial world kind of starts over there. Here, open banking has begun. It's going to become a thing where your data is just going to be shared amongst everyone. Because the consumer wants everyone to have my data. so you can serve me better. So the credit union not only needs to embrace the technology to grow and better serve their member and know them better, as we as an industry in the financial industry move towards open banking, you've got to know your member and their behavior and their life path to effectively serve them, and having that technology is going to be critical going forward. So if you're small or mid-sized, like I really don't need it, you're going to need something to embrace now, because as the financial industry changes more to an open banking platform, it's going to be critical, or you will not survive.
So the first thing you mentioned, I think, was a HELOC campaign. And is that typically the side of things that you're going after, is the lending side, or did I get that wrong?
No, we're focused on all products, right? And I think that's the most important part of. There are many solution providers that are very product specific, right? I can help you with HELOCs, or I can help you with checking accounts or auto loans. What is unique about Virtus is we want to give the credit unions a view across all products and services and find what's important to the credit union and how that overlaps with what's important to the member, right? What are the needs and wants of the member, and what are the needs and wants of the credit union? And we can help you find those intersections so you can have more effective programs and campaigns for the members, right? Because again, you think about last year, there was a time where I could show you all the people that wanted HELOCs and lending, and it was like, well, I'd love to do that, but we need deposits.
Yeah, deposits now.
That's right. And it's still today. And so there's people that are in a good place, that are very focused on deposit-oriented products. Let's, engage those people with deposit products, and let's engage people with lending products where they need it. So we're really trying to find those overlaps of the needs and wants of the members and the needs and wants of the credit unions. And that changes over time. So we have the flexibility to ebb and flow and find those opportunities.
Yeah, Duke University, I think they have mentioned the marketing person there can't wait to get the dashboard from Virtus whenever they update every 2 weeks or every week. I don't know what it is, but they can't wait to get that dashboard that first part of the week to kind of see where they're going to go. Just something simple as a 13-month CD special, for example. Credit unions do a blanket marketing campaign. Well, the 18 to 21-year-old member is not really looking for an investment CD special, right? They're looking to save money, maybe a new used car, their first new car, Mitch's new car. So just basic things like that, where you've got to be smarter in how you're marketing to your membership and looking and drilling down who's got deposits, where the deposit's going, and having a very specific marketing campaign to those individuals where you can really make a difference in growing those deposits, rather than a blanket campaign that half that membership is just not, that's not their world. And then if you send me that, and I'm a 17-year-old looking for my new first new car, then you're telling me you don't really pay attention to me. You don't know me. I don't have an interest in a 13-month CD special. What do you have, a used car special that's lower rate, up to 5 to 10 grand, whatever that is? So it's going to show to your younger member, or your entire membership, are you paying attention to me and my behavior and my life path or not? And for us, what we're trying to do at the corporate is given the credit union the tools, because again, talking to some folks at a conference just last week, what are you struggling with? I want to grow. I have data. I don't have the resources, and we need to do it fairly cheap. Well, that checks all the boxes of what we're trying to do at the corporate, working with Virtus, is we got a platform that will solve the growth problem, get your data ready. You understand your members better, and because they're working with Vizzo, they're going to get a pretty damn good price point for the platform. So we're trying to help and solve what a lot of cranes are struggling with right now, is trying to get into the space, knowing they need to get better at data, knowing the member, preparing for open banking, but in a way that's kind of solving a small problem at a reasonable price.
And I think you started just a few months ago, and you already have 5 folks signed up. Now, how long does it take? What's the cycle time from when you sign up to when you've got the data, you've analyzed the data, provided? It's interesting, the Insight Fred just provided a dashboard, so you're making them a weekly dashboard of ideas. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So several questions there. So one of the core premises at Virtus was speed to value, right? Again, past life, in big analytics project says, Fred, we get it stuck in this data takes months, or years. We said, no, we want to, how can we get people value in, weeks is our measurement. And so we do need to get data from the core as a key source for that. Depending on the core, we know that's, easier or harder for difference. If it's Scimitar, we have a standard integration to that, right? And we had a credit union that onboarded and we had data out of Scimitar in 2 days. And once we get it into Vertus, exactly right, in 2 days. And then once we get it from there, we can have them up and running in a week or two's time. So our goal is in, less than 4 weeks from the time that we get that data, that they're in there getting value. And it's more than a dashboard. I want to be clear. That is one piece that is valuable. But there are many dashboards and, things that you can do that are valuable, but the real action is give me those targeted lists. How do I build these actionable program audiences for all the things that we're looking to grow at the credit union? And that again, in 4 weeks' time, we're trying to get people up and running on this. Now we do need to get that data. So that's not sort of mileage may vary based on when we can get the data. So there is some need for the credit unions to do some of that. But like I said, we've added the standard connector to Scimitar, and we're working on that with the other major cores to continue to make it easy and efficient for all of the credit unions. So that's a big part of it. So goal is speed to value. We've seen it as as few as 2 days to getting the data and a few weeks to getting up and on the solution. And it's more than a dashboard. It's really it's an actionable set of recommendations, usually for marketing, but we're seeing it in retail as well, where the branches say, give me those target lists that we can use for our engagement with members as well. And now we're seeing lending teams as well saying, hey, help us. So everybody wants to be able to get to this data within the credit union to impact their business functions.
And in an AI fashion, do you take the effectiveness of the campaign and pay attention to what did and didn't work, and then train the model to be more effective?
Absolutely. We're typically getting refreshed data from the credit unions on a weekly basis. And so we see what are the actual products getting opened, right? What's actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the models are retraining and rescoring on that regular basis. So we're giving updates for them to be able to, make new decisions on those, target audiences. When we see something right, we need to take the person out of the auto loan campaign if we saw that they took the auto loan, right?
Yeah.
This week. That's great. So, and we can do more frequent, but back to, we think this is a journey, not a destination, right? So if you're coming from nothing and getting this kind of weekly insights on this strategic decision making is very valuable. Are there credit unions that could use, more daily refreshes? For sure, and we're ready to support those. And that was one of the big things about the partnership with Vizzo was, look, we have a lot of credit unions that are very early or haven't even started on this journey.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to have the, classic crawl, walk, run approach to be able to support them. And that's what we've structured as a program that they can, getting back to the know my members first, right? So we have an offering that's like, let's just start to know my members, and then we can get into some of the more advanced AI modeling to grow and some of these measurement things over time. So we've really tried to make it approachable for credit unions, one of all sizes, but more importantly of all, where are they on the maturity scale of ready to adopt some of this?
And that's where I think we've really enjoyed the relationship too, because Vertus gets it. We know our members extremely well. We know the credit unions extremely well. And while they want this and they need to have it implemented, we know the path for a credit union typically is slow to implement, budget-wise or resource-wise or strategically, or we're going through a core conversion or card conversion. So the take up is slow, even though they do need it and are requesting it. So yeah, we do want to take the path. It's pretty methodical and understand that that's the way it works in our industry. But Vertus has some folks at their shop that are very supportive of the member of the credit union. We've hired some staff internally. An individual just started this month that's going to really gear up and manage this product for us, who was a former CEO of a credit union. So he understands the challenges of a mid-sized credit union, the need for this product. So there's a lot of support between Vertus and Vizzo to help the credit union dip their toe into AI, into technology with a platform like Vertus that's solving a solution, kind of the crawl piece of it before they walk, and there will be support at both institutions to really help the credit union kind of go down that path. We're also looking to help credit unions in the future develop an AI policy. A lot of folks are like, okay, I got this model, but I don't have a policy, I don't have a program, I don't have a digital roadmap of how this is going to integrate with other AI type platforms. So that's a piece that we're going to help with as well, is kind of develop AI policies, procedures, a process, a roadmap of how other things integrate. We at the corporate are also working in an innovation lab to spin out other new products in the AI space that, again, solve certain situations and problems that the cranes are looking at. So we're investing some time and effort and money in developing future solutions to help the credit unions that is easy and affordable. It's what's key for most of our members.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you mentioned a couple of big names, and I'd really love it if you could share some sort of the story of the experience for one of them. Like they started at this point in time, and we got the data and identified the first action item was HELOCs or whatever it may be, and they did that, and then went on to so and so. Like, and especially if you had any metrics around the effectiveness, that'd be really neat to hear. I understand if you don't, it's fine.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. We Wellbe Financial, right? They're a credit union down in Texas that we work with. They, it started with, can you help us with the age-old indirect programs, right? Can you help us with the indirect conversions? Which is, we were probably naive, like, oh yeah, of course we can help with that problem. And so we dove into it, and we did, we clearly identified there is a group of indirects that are going to convert, and there's a group that are not going to convert. And the models can do a pretty great job of identifying who shows higher propensity for indirect conversion to others. And the numbers were significant there, right? 2 to 4 times higher conversion rates on the targeted groups down there. Now, look, it's on a small number, like, let's be honest with that, but those are the kind of results that we see pretty across the board when we focus on targeting the right members with the right products and services across the board. And again, I think in some of those scenarios when we were targeting deposit products, that was the example where I think we saw roughly 30 to 40% higher deposit rates in terms of initial deposits when we got those products. So, very sizable impacts that we're seeing back to if we talk to the right members about the right products. Now, we have examples too where, again, with certificates where we've seen, 6, 8 times higher conversion rates. And one of the things that I also say is, like, recognize when we talk about some of those numbers, we're changing the denominator, right? So what does that mean? It used to be we sent it to all 100,000 members. Well, I'm going to say only send it to the same 20,000, and we're going to get the same conversion rate. So I'm going to get a 5x, in that scenario kind of conversion rate. But that's important because it goes back to Fred's point, which is we're talking to the right members about things that they care about or are meaningful to them. And so now I have, the rest of the 80% of the membership that I can target with what they care about, and back to building that trusted relationship. So that's a big part of where, focusing the funnel on talking to the right members about the right products and services.
And it's a huge message of, I know you, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to help. I'm not just blasting out marketing to grow the institution that I send to everybody. I'm here to serve you in your situation today.
And I believe every credit union wants that, and at times tries to do that, and at times does it well. But to do it at scale all the time is the challenge. And that's what we're trying to bring, is leveraging AI to make that a repeatable, scalable program. I tell the joke, if I put Fred or some credit union CEO and their CMO and a data analyst, and we lock them in a room for a week and say, give us all of the people that we should really focus on for the HELOC program, I'm sure they could come up with a fantastic list, right? No interruptions, right? They could crunch through all the data and figure all that, but that doesn't scale, right? And so the power of AI is scaling that kind of capability to run it for every product, for every member, all the time, And then we can choose how we want to engage it. Get marketers back to their focus of how do we create great products and great collateral and great messages to engage our members. That's what we want to, empower them to do. So yeah, that's the real, what we're focused on.
That's the important part is this is where we're at today. Again, 20 to 30 years ago, we were going into the branch and we knew the membership and we knew, Doug, that you were looking for a used car, you're looking to refi a car, buy a new house. We knew that through conversation because we had it face to face. Fast forward for the last 10 years, and especially now, it's you're banking through your app or the website or home banking. And some credit unions have branch activity and traffic, yes, but many do not, especially for the younger generation. They're not stepping into a branch. So, well, while you think your members, and many credit unions do know their members, there's a lot of members that you're just not tied into just because you don't have that interaction anymore, given the way we're banking today. And as Mitch said, you could put us in a room together and figure it out. But in today's environment, you're going to need something smarter, technology, to do that analysis for you and understand the membership behavior. I may not know Doug personally, but I know what his behavior is given his age and kind of what I see transactional data telling me. I'm smarter to know what the propensity and try to project what you're doing in your next stage of life. You're graduating college, you just got married. It's data driven now because we don't have that relationship anymore given the way that we bank today, especially for the younger generation. So having data to help you get through this and be smarter with your member is critical. And that's what your younger member, especially to retain them, they're expecting that from the credit union. So that's
Absolutely.
where the credit union has to embrace the technology.
Yeah, and then it needs to get better. It needs to get smarter. It needs to know
Yes.
me more. So have you seen that already, Mitch, or is it too early to have seen where the campaign was, 3 times as effective as the internal campaigns the first time, and then we dialed the algo better, and then it was 4 or 5. Have you seen that, or is it too early for that?
I think it's a little early to see that. I mean, you get into the other bit of now we're talking about, yes, we want to grow with the existing members, but there's also new members that we need to bring in. So we're starting to think about how do we empower new member acquisition growth as well. So we're thinking about how do we expand to use these kind of capabilities for other use cases of member growth.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I would think the biggest use case would be around lending products, because that you could see the transactional data of something that was going on that would lead you down that path, right? That'd be the most obvious solution, and the one that the credit unions need the most, right? That and member growth, right? Wouldn't those be the top 2?
Yep. And deposit growth. I mean, there's a lot of credit unions that have said in the past, prior to having data, the Fed raises rates, overnight rates go higher, money market rates go higher, and they see money leave. One example, not using Virtus, but just looking at their data old school, the group, the ALCO said we probably should raise our money market rate to kind of retain those funds. And the CFO went back and scrubbed through data the old school way and realized, the money didn't leave here and go to a money market fund, a Fidelity or somewhere else. Some money went somewhere to pay off a mortgage. Some went another place within the credit union. Another one was wired out to a different location. So they didn't raise their money market rate, and it saved themselves money because the money leaving was not because of higher rates elsewhere. There was other ways. The behavior was different. And so this individual, very good example of somebody that wants to embrace Virtus AI because it makes them smarter on decisions with deposit rates, and how to price more effectively and save money that way. If you don't raise your money market rate 5 to 10 or 20 basis points, you've paid for the model on $5 million or $20 million that you've didn't reprice because you thought you had to. You're looking at your data and being smarter and saying, you don't have to reprice our rates. That money's not gone to money market. We just got to be smarter. By being smarter with your cost of funds, you're saving money there and paying for the model. So on the deposit side, it's just as impactful. If you want more deposits or need to bring deposits in, you do the 13-month or 18-month CD special to your targeted market. Maybe you bring 5, 10, 20 million in for deposit growth because you need to fund loan growth that's going through the roof. So it works both sides on the asset and liability side, and both ways can be very effective. So when a credit looks at the cost, it's going to cost me some money for the software solution. Yeah, but a couple decisions on either side of the balance sheet that you make that are smarter more than pays off that cost of that software. The ROI, and that's very significant.
Very different angle that I did not anticipate. So that was, instead of marketing, it's pricing.
The strategy side for sure.
Yeah, the strategy side, I assume, of both the deposit and the lending side.
Definitely, because you know what your members are doing, and you're not reacting to what Mitch's credit union down the street did, or Doug's offering a 199 car loan rate down the street. So we gotta do the same thing. What is our membership? Our membership they're not have the credit worthiness of a 199, or if we do a 199 car loan rate like they did in the past, maybe we offer some type of credit card, or they've got to sign up for a credit card or whatever. So with the data, you're way more strategic, and you should be way more strategic on your pricing. And that pricing being more strategic makes you a smarter credit union, and that and then in turn increases your margins and easily more than pays the model that you're utilizing. So there's so many ways, there's so much data and so many ways to look at it and spin it, so many decisions to be made strategically. And then once you're in it, you start to look back like, how did we make these decisions before? You just looked at what the competition did down the street or what you thought was happening, and they probably weren't. Some decisions were fine, but some were not made probably with accurate information. And with AI and technology today, you got to have it, because that's going to make smarter decisions, which will in fact allow you to save some money and grow the credit union.
So if a credit union leader has been listening to the podcast and wants to learn more about this, where's the best place to go? We all just got back from GAC, where there's probably great opportunities to learn more about both organizations. Is it the website? Is it a webinar? Where should they go to learn more about Virtus AI and your partnership?
Yeah, we were at GAC as well. We had a double booth Vizzo did in partnership with Virtus, and we had a rep there at Virtus as well. We also had a session on AI, talking about technology. So those that attended GAC, they should have got an email of recorded sessions. That session's out there. So if you didn't attend our session, I should be able to download that recorded session and the PowerPoint presentation. Obviously, you can also go to Vizzo Financial's website, vfccu.org, and go onto our website and get a bunch of information on there. Or just reach out and call our 800 number, talk to our staff. We will line you up with one of our account managers who can line up some more information, discussion points around it. And if you're interested in a demo, we can line that up with the Virtus group as well. Mitch and his group are out quite a bit as well at a variety of conferences. So same thing applies there. If you want to reach out through Virtus, by all means, and Mitch can give you that information.
For sure. VirtusAnalytics.ai is our website. Would love to hear more. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we're happy to tell you more about the partnership and what we're doing and support your credit union.
Awesome. Well, Mitch and Fred, thank you for your work in supporting and growing the credit union movement. I hope that AI can be the key to reverse the shrink and to help credit unions grow faster in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Doug.
That's a wrap for today's episode of See You on the Show. If you know of bold thinkers in the credit union movement, email me, doug@act-advisors.com. I need your help to protect and grow the credit union movement.